I knew that would go off.
But that was a smooth transition.
But let's
Let me take that off. Easy. Yeah. So we are live now.
Different look.
We'll double check. They're coming back online now. Okay. But my concern is, did you clean this camera?
Try to do it.
Yeah, just on the surface. Okay. It's looking better. Yes.
Yes. So I need to go down.
No, it's okay.
No, I mean the keypad.
Okay, yes. So thank you. So we'll try that once again. We're waiting for our guests to come back in. Then we'll try to invite it. So sorry for this slight technical itch. Yeah, she's in. So let's attempt to bring her. Can you try to just accept so that what I would do is let me get up from here. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. So if you can hear us, we've invited you. Let me see.
I think he's saying
She's there.
He's joined.
And she's been invited.
You haven't seen her. Oh.
Interesting. Oh, you know what? Maybe you can send the invite since it's a different gadget now. Possibly it should bring you up. It's strange because it's simply the same thing we've been doing. No, either way.
Either way, we've been doing it either way.
Yeah, it works either way. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Yemi. If you send us invite now, let's up. Come on, let's up. We've accepted. I expect that should come up. Wow. Coming up. Say something. Come on board. Interesting. Something doesn't want our guest to come up.
Our guest must come up.
She's coming up. Let's see. Live video. Interesting. Let me cancel then re-invite.
Yeah.
Cancel then re-invite. Please, can you check again? We've re-invited you and see if it will come up. Interesting. The same thing we've been doing that brings our guest up. The same thing we've done.
He's saying, please send me an invite. And we've done that.
We've done that. We just did that now. Please, can you check? If you see it, then you can accept. We've cancelled the previous one, then we've resent.
I'm still trying to.
Sorry, everyone, for the technical age.
I don't know. No. If I won't be able to go live.
You think it?
Or I'm thinking, should you go use your personal handle there?
That means you have to communicate that to people. Allow me. Let's try this one more time. You try to send us an invite now. I've cancelled the one we sent to you. There are multiple invites. Isn't able to join.
Isn't able to join. Okay.
That's it. So,
does Instagram have any rule that you have up to 1,000 followers? You can't do like
no, because she has sent an invite. Let's bring. Go live like today.
Please.
Let's see. Can you see her come up? No.
Are we up? We can hear you.
Can hear you. Can you see her? Okay. So what we'll do is this, so that we don't go back and forth. Please, for those watching, can you see her, please? Can you help drop it in the comment section to confirm whether you can see her? All good?
All good.
Okay. Yes. No problem. The important thing is you're seeing a beautiful guest, so I'm happy for that. So what we'll try to do is, let me show you one thing. On our main device, it's just us that we're playing. My beautiful wife and my humble self.
When is it your handsome self?
I'm handsome self. And see the second device here. It's such an interesting one. So no problem. This is Insta Live. We'll make it as fun as possible, and we'll get the job done. We'll get the job done. Nothing can deter us. So
yes.
So we'll use this to continue to look at our face, but I know that is the main.
So that it means that we're going to be using 2 devices.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll try to position it, in a way that our attention is not.
This is the real.
So this is
our focus. Our focus.
This is our focus. The devil is a liar. We must hold this session today because a whole lot of people are looking forward to it. I have been looking forward to it.
So we can get right on the business. So yes. It's 7:15 now. All right.
Allow me, you are welcome. Let's even welcome everybody and say thank you for staying put while we try to resolve this technical issue that decide to show up today. It just means that we are people of faith. The devil is trying not to allow this session hold. It's a lie. We must hold. We are going to hold it, and it's going to impact and liberate marriages. So
before you go on, I was just reflecting right now, and what I could. It's not part of the script, and I felt sometimes things will not go the way you actually want it to go. So what happened? Do you let go, or you push on?
You push on. So let's push on.
So we're pushing on.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you want to open the floor?
Yes. So well, I'm just going to say thank you once again for staying put, for hanging in there, and please, if you kindly share this live, share to your friends, share to your family members, share to colleagues. Our guest today is loaded. Is loaded. I mean, you can't afford to miss this, and it's going to be a no holds back session. We're going to take your questions. Send in your questions starting from now. Don't wait. Send in your questions, and Olawunmi Esan is well able to tackle them. Okay, and myself and my handsome dude as well. Right?
I'm feeling cool.
Yes. So please. Let's get right to it. I'm itching to go.
All right. Let me just start quickly by saying that we appreciate you, just like she said. We've been running this on Delua Talks Real, but it's one of the expressions of the main body that we have, and we call it the Udela Family Institute. And we're actually building a more structured and rounded institute that will cater for quite a number of things, all for the sole purpose of strengthening relationship and strengthening marriage.
Yes.
And just I'll summarize because we've lost some time, but we are focusing on growth in relationship through educational opportunities. We focus on relationship enrichment. We also focus on parenting and confidence. We focus on personalized guidance, and Udela Family Institute is actually committed to your family's well-being, and we reach out directly. You can reach out directly on us as we move on. We'll share our social media platform handles and also our special guests that we have in our midst today. Just watch out in the comment section. But I'd like to just quickly read the profile of our guest as we hit the ground running. No, not running, flying. We hit the ground. If we're flying, we'll move into the ground.
Yeah, let's play.
We'll move from the ground and we'll fly. So, Olawunmi Esan, that's the name of our guest tonight. I'm reading her profile now. Is a trained psychologist and sex therapist who specializes in helping couples and individuals improve intimacy and enjoy sexual pleasure, connection, and fulfillment. Now, with a robust educational foundation comprising a bachelor's and master's degree in psychology, an advanced diploma in counseling, and also certifications in psychosexual therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy and family systems engineering. Yeah, so much. Olawunmi embodies a fusion of academic excellence and an astute grasp of human behavior and relationships. She has honed her expertise over 15 years of dedicated study in psychology and sexuality and a decade-long professional practice. Her commitment to the field extends beyond practice, and for years she has actually lectured at esteemed professional institutions such as the Institute of Family Engineering and Development and also AEI College of Counseling and Psychotherapy. Then, as a trusted advocate for sexual well-being, Olawunmi Esan continues to shape the landscape of sex therapy. With a deep understanding of psychology and human behavior, she adeptly guides individuals and couples through challenges, empowering them to embrace their sensuality, heal from past traumas, resolve sexual dysfunctions, and rediscover the joy of intimate connection. And we believe those are things that will be happening.
That she's going to bring to bear, yes.
So just to save time, I want us to make welcome into this special session, and you can display that by maybe a display of emoji or clap or just a wow or something like that.
Please, let's make welcome our amazing guest today, Mrs. Olawunmi Esan. Thank you so very much. My eyes is going to be going because this is where we are seeing Mrs. Esan, and this is where our main gadget is. So, like we said, please, it's going to be an interactive session. So please send in more. Yes. So please send in your questions. This session is for you. It's for every one of us. Send in your questions. And so today we're looking at sensational sex. People, over time, we've got a lot of feedback, sex seems to be overhyped. Some people, before they got married, they were looking so much to, enjoying sexual intimacy. But after getting married, the next thing was like, is this all there is to it? So all the sex hype I've been hearing about, is this all? And some, they started well, somewhere along the line, probably the issues of life stress, children, came in, and then things fizzled out. I mean, a whole lot of reasons why people may not be having sensational sex. And we've gotten so many feedback, and we thought that it would be a good idea to bring in someone who is very adept at this to throw light as to how married couples could enjoy sensational sex continuously. So I'm going to start from there. Olawunmi Esan. Yes, please. In your opinion, with all your trainings and education, what is sensational sex? I said something about continuously. Is it possible to have and enjoy sensational sex on a continuous basis with all the mass boost of life?
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, first of all, for having me here and
Thank you.
everything. good to meet you. I know we had a preliminary talk, and so again, good to meet you again. So what is sensational sex, and can people really have sensational sex throughout their marriages? I do believe that people can have this, right? However, I also know that from my experience working with people over these years, I also know that the definition of sensational sex will differ from couple to couple, right? Now, the
Mm,
mistake a lot of people
mm,
make is we think great sex, sensational sex should look one specific way, right? Everybody should behave a specific way. Everybody should be spontaneous. You come back home, somebody's tearing your shirt, tearing your boxers, remove your pants, everybody jump on each other. Do you understand that kind of thing? So
yeah.
that's what it's supposed to look like. But the truth is that we also have to be able to account for the fact that individuals are different, couples are different. What sensational sex is to another couple might not be what it means to another couple. So it's
Mm,
very important that we are defining these things for ourselves as couples and saying, okay, based on who we are as individuals, based on how we present, what does sensational sex mean to us, right? And
mm,
how can we sustain that? Do you understand? So basically, for me, couples need to learn how to build their own unique couple sexual style that is sensational and pleasurable and basically makes everybody happy, the couple in that relationship happy. So it's not something, there's no universal standard. That's what I'm trying to say. So what
Yeah.
works for the couple is not necessarily what works for the other couple.
mm.
Thank you very much. So, before I go to the next question, can you please put your questions in the comment section? Put, like I said, this is in an interactive session. If you notice, we just dive straight to questions. So she's not having the time to, to teach or have like a seminar. This is all strictly for us. So, the next question I have here is, now we've talked about that sensational sex or great sex is relative. It's couple defined. So now, what are the things that as a couple, as just myself and my husband or any other person, what are the we still want to believe that there are basic or general indices that makes for great sex?
Mm.
In your experience from talking to people, couples and dealing with issues over the years, what are those general things or, things that make ex- sex great? Let me
Mm.
put it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay. So of course, definition. What do you define as great sex, right? Is it about communication? Of course, we all know that communication is something that has to happen with couples. If you are going to have great sex, you should be communicating about it even before marriage, right? You also another thing that I've also come to realize is a lot of people, and because we're people of faith here, I'm going to say this very directly. We have a lot of people who are people of faith, right? Who are saying, okay, before marriage, I'm going to abstain because of my faith. And
Mm-hmm.
when marriage, sex is for marriage, so no fornication and all of that, and then sex is for marriage. Now, one of the things I've come to find out is that people think that sex will automatically fall into place, right? So it's all great sex should be the reward for abstinence. It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You're not preparing yourself, if you're not understanding what sex means, if you're not laying the proper foundation that you need to lay, if you're not understanding each other, if you're not understanding where both of you are coming from sexually, right? And you think you just go into marriage and sex is just going to fall into place, that's a big lie. So what happens now is you see a lot of people who kept themselves, were celibate, stayed virgins, and then they get married and they're confused. So what is the point? Why did I do all of this while? But the
Exactly.
truth is that God is a God of processes, right? And one of the things I've come to realize is people would usually run away from sexuality and anything about sex. And so when we get married, we figure it out. It's a huge lie. There's so
Mm.
many aspects and facets to sex that people need to deal with. And so you are having people in marriages that don't even understand who they are sexually, right? Because
Mm.
if first of all, there's the place of self-understanding, right? And then there's the place of partner understanding. Because if you don't understand yourself, and at the very least what you want, what your expectations are, what you're looking forward to. If we can't bring these things to the table, right, and say, okay, from your side, what are you expecting? From my side, what are we expecting? What are the things that we now agree on at the end of the day? If we can't bring these things to the table, if we can't have these conversations, people are going to keep struggling. And so you find that you're having marriages now where couples can't even actively talk about sex. They want to do sex, but they can't talk about it. They're not comfortable talking about it. And again, I mean, if you look at it, if you look back, we're not socialized to talk about it. We were not taught that we're not taught when we're growing up that sex is something you discuss, right? So I don't know, maybe if you can look at your experiences, or if you find a lot of people, if you look at a lot of people's experiences, what you find is when growing up, you ask your parents what is sex, and they say, "Shut up your mouth. You're a child. Who told you that? Don't say that." Do you understand? And then from there, what is the message you are getting? That sex is wrong, sex is bad, right? And so back
Is
then
dirty.
nobody exactly is dirty, it's sinful. So back then nobody was giving, not a lot of parents, right, were giving that socialization in a healthy way.
Yeah.
It was all fear-based, it was all negative, right? And you that when people make decisions to be celibate outside of religion, one of the things that people tell themselves is, "Oh, I don't even want to think about it," right? Sometimes I talk to attending couples and I say, "Oh, have you guys started talking about sex?" And people are like, "I don't want to talk about it because my body will be doing this. I'm like, your body is not doing this. There's a problem. So your body should do it.
Exactly.
Because it's natural, right? And so the point comes from this history of being socialized into sex in a very negative way, and that haunts a lot of marriages today, a lot of people today, right? And so when we talk about what great sex should look like, communication is key. Understanding, having a similar definition of what great sex should be, because to one person, great sex can be about frequency. How often are we having sex? And to another, maybe to the partner, it's about the quality. We might not have it often, but when we have it, let it be, earth shaking, let there be hallelujah chorus and all the angels and then the other person is saying, "No, great sex is when you're having it morning, afternoon, night." So you already see that there's a disparity. It doesn't mean that any of them are wrong, but it just means that there's a disparity in how both of them are defining great sex. Do you understand what I mean? And so it's very important that couples are coming together to say, "Okay, what are our expectations? What does great sex look like for us? And let's put that down on the table and come to a point where we are fusing together what each party wants and creating a recipe that works for the couple."
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to say something?
I think you are full. Say something though. I'll say later.
I wanted to have it.
A follow-up. No. Go ahead.
So, Olawunmi, you mentioned, frequency, and one of the things that we've had, in our years of dealing with couples is, especially the men, they think that they don't get sex often enough, and so I'm going to ask. It might sound like a dumb question: what is too often and what is too little sex between a married couple? Is there any parameter to measure how often you should have sex? And the other bit is, can frequency of sex be used to measure the health of your marriage relationship?
Okay. All right. So let me start from the second one. Can the frequency be used to help measure the health of your marital relationship? Yes and no, right? So yes, in that sex plays a very impactful role in a marital relationship. So if you see people that are having sexual problems, right, it takes on such a very significant magnitude that it starts to affect everything else in the relationship, right? So because sex is not going well, anything outside of the bedroom, relational, emotional, all of those things start to suffer because sex is not going well, right? So sex does have a very significant impact on the marital relationship. So in that light, yes. But again, because these things are very unique to people, you can have a couple that is having what's it called, very frequent sex, but one person is disconnected. One person is saying, I'm just so you know that for instance, women, we are told, for instance, in our society that you have to give your husband sex when he wants it, how he wants it, everything, right? And so I find that some women are submitting their body sexually, but they are disconnected. You understand? So they're not having the sex that they want, or they're probably not even interested in having it because something is going on somewhere. But just because they have that mentality and they've been told submit, it's for your husband and all of that, that can be happening. And so sex can be happening frequently, but it doesn't even impact their marital relationship. So in different circumstances, yes, it could be yes, and then it could be no. So the first question you asked, okay, what is the frequency of sex that a married couple should have? That's it, yes? I think that was the first question.
Yes.
Okay, so I think I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying. You know why I say this? You know why I think these things are very unique to people? Because in my experience of working with people over the years, right, there's no one yardstick. I've seen couples that will have sex twice a month and they are okay. Nobody's complaining. So if they feel
Nobody's dead.
they feel
What are you talking about?
Sorry.
if they feel a sexual satisfaction assessment, right, you will think you will feel that these people are okay, they're fine. Do you understand? And it can just be twice a month, and both of them are fine with it. Do you get? But then you can have a couple that they're having it twice a week, and somebody is still complaining. Do you get what I mean? Somebody can still be saying it's not enough. I need more. I need more. I need more. And then you can have a couple that a month, and they're like, we are fine. We are okay. And the truth is, who is anyone to say what should be okay for a couple or what shouldn't be okay for them? Do you understand what I'm saying? So if a couple says they are fine, who are we to come and say, you're not fine?
You are not fine.
Yourself. How can you be fine? Just 2 times, no abomination. It's not anybody's place to say that, right? So this is very dependent on the couple. And what I usually will say to the couple is, between both of you, how often do you want to connect and express yourself sexually? How often do you want to be having sex? And if there's a disparity in that number, okay, how can we find a happy number that at least works for the both of you, that keeps both of you happy? And that's what usually I would say. So I don't usually put a number and say, oh, this is how many times, because people will run with it. And people are in very, very different situations. So somebody's saying you should be having sex 3 times a week, and people that are okay with maybe even twice a month start to put themselves under unnecessary pressure, and it's not needed. So it's basically what works for the couple and how to find that balance that keeps both the husband and the wife happy.
Thank you very much for that balance you brought, and thank you. I just want to echo that aspect of communication. So it's safe or right to say that whatever is unique for each couple is what should be worked on. And that means we should stay far away from comparison, because the way it works for one family isn't from the way it works from the other family.
Exactly.
Just trying to extract some things that you have actually said. So which means there are unique challenges in homes that are different from in one home that are different from the other one. So I think when we give room for communication, it goes a long way in helping. Now, I agree with you, because it's a similar experience we've had in the course of the 2 decades that we've been interfacing with couple, and especially when it has to do with aspects of sex. We've had some people even said, though they're having an issue, but they manage to get by. It could even be once a month. So what we've realized that one party's libido is way higher than the other person, and therefore the person desire it more. We'll dive deeper into it as we move on, but I want to keep some questions out. But I just want for now. But what I want to emphasize there is the aspect of communication, which means that it's good to talk about those challenges that is actually facing couples, that we feel those couples will feel maybe is contributing to the nature of their sex life. And partners are supposed to be able to bring it up if it's born out of stress, depending on the nature of the work they do, the nature of business that they do as well. So thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for that. So
Yeah.
move on.
Okay, I saw a question.
You move on now.
Okay. I want us to take the question before I move on.
Is it this one?
Yes.
In what way can you add more spice
in your sexual relationship?
I think we'll come to that later, because those are the bits I feel we should hold this question.
Why?
Do you want to? Okay. So
I can take it now.
so fire.
Please, let's take it up.
All right.
Okay. So in what way can you spice up your sexual life?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways, right? So many different ways to spice up your sexual life. Of course, you have to start with understanding yourself, understanding what you want, right? And how do we bring that to table? What feels good for you, and understanding now what feels good for them as well. Now, there's something I've noticed with a lot of couples. Couples in marriages, long-term relationships, and marriages. One of the things that starts to happen is couples tend to settle into a routine, right? So usually would have maybe 2, 3, or 4 sex positions that is the go-to, right? And these are the things that they've come to that, okay, these are the things that work. And then it's almost like a science. We kiss for 2 minutes, we press the breast for another 3 minutes, then somebody's hands go somewhere, okay, is he erect? Okay, let's be playing with it, okay, don't worry, and then we'll get there. You understand? It's almost like a science, right? And don't get me wrong, understanding what works is good. But what I've also come to understand is that a lot of people then settle into that pattern, and then things can start to get monotonous, right? When things start to get monotonous, it's not a lot of excitement. It's predictable. You know what you are going to get. You know what to expect, right? So people stop bringing new things to the bedroom. We're like, oh, I know what she likes. I know what he likes. Once I do this, once I touch her breast, it's gone. Once I touch his face, it's gone, right? But the thing is that one of the ways that you can spice your sex life is bringing some novelty, right? And it's always great when both partners are invested in their sexual relationship, right? It's not something that just happens on autopilot. You have to be interested. So you are saying, I want to learn something. What am I bringing to the bedroom this week? And you are excited. You are planning. This is what I'm doing this week. Okay, I want to do a body-to-body massage. I'm going to bring something new. I'm going to spice things up. Do you understand? I'm going
to say something too now. Yeah.
I'm going to go and learn how to use my hands, and I'm going to bring it to the bed this week. The man is also bringing something. You are sending things to each other. You are exciting each other. You understand? You are learning new things, invested in that sexual learning.
Yeah.
Sending messages to each other when you see stuff that you like. Talking about what you want, what your fantasies are, and stuff like that. And being that invested in your sexual relationship is one of the most important ways to bring spice into your relationship, because now both of you are saying we want more, we want to keep exploring. We're not saying that where we are now is fine, we've achieved comfort, we're good, but we want to be able to use that comfort that we've achieved in our relationship to even enhance our sexual relationship even more, right? Because you have to understand that when you are comfortable with someone, so it's not in those early stages where you are forming and everything. Now you are norming and performing, right? And
you see it all.
Absolutely. And you're saying, okay, this is what we want to try. If we fail at it, we will laugh, but we will move on. But we will know that we tried. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That comfort will help you enhance your sexual relationship. So you are bringing new things to the table. You are learning new things. You are practicing new things together, and it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And also, both parties' pleasures are brought into the equation. It's also important. So it's not just about one person. It's not just about what am I going to do to you. What do I also get, in return? So when both of you are mutually invested and committed to enhancing your sexual relationship, it gives you something to look forward to. You now start to look like teenagers that are giggly and everything, because you are now investing. And you know what they say, what you focus on grows.
Yes.
If you're focusing on that, it definitely would improve. And then you also understand that for some people, sex for some people, sex is not just what happens in the bedroom, right? For some people, it's about what happens outside the bedroom. How are we connecting outside the bedroom, right? And so if you're married to that kind of person, and I mean, your relationship does definitely reflect in your bedroom. So if you are taking care of the bedroom, right, and not taking care of what is happening outside the bedroom, it might have it's likely to have an effect in your bedroom, right? And so you also want to be able to look beyond the bedroom, spicing your sex life, yes, but you're still looking beyond the bedroom, because when you, relationally you are in a good space, you are more open to each other,
Yeah.
more open to exploring, more open to giving, more open to loving, right? And so you
Yeah.
also have to learn how to nurture your relationship outside the bedroom, so that it can also enhance what is happening in the bedroom.
Thank you very much.
Thank
So I will say this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because I think some people assume, I love the earlier thing you mentioned, said some people assume that great sex is you make
It's a reward for abstinence.
it's a reward for abstinence. That's profound.
Good design.
I love that, because we've come to realize that it's actually an act. Is a skill, the same way you learn certain habits or certain skills to get better at it. I remember my wife was saying that before we got married, how can I remain with one man for how many years? How will it you cannot just conceptualize that and assume that that thing is there. And when we also started, I know we have a bit.
Did I say I cannot remember with one man for a while?
How can I spend years?
I said before we got married, I used to be scared that I could not stay with, and that how do people stay married for long?
That's the concern I'm expressing here.
So you now even look like as if my eye is outside that. I cannot say one man. I'm looking for different men up and down.
Okay. It's not so. Don't mind us. So that's the way we are.
You, I've been very faithful to this one man since.
You understand what we are talking about. So don't mind us. We used to be in drama units in previous worship.
In our former life.
Former lives, yeah. So still this current one, it's not in a different world. But I love that. I love that because it's something that you have to work on now. Our marriage is over 2 decades now, and you could just imagine that if you don't innovate, the later part of what you were saying, if you don't innovate, if you are not intentional about it, because at some point in time, some people say the missionary star, just the man permanently on top. Are you going to be permanently on top the whole of that lifetime that you will be? At some point, you use the word it will become monotonous. And if it becomes monotonous, there's no excitement there. And we've had cases whereby there's a husband who refused the wife to see his penis for 3 years. Whenever they want to do the thing, he will just shut the lights up until they got to a point where it was almost breaking the marriage, and the wife have to open up. Then they sought for help. There's also another one it's more like a command, like they say it in a Yoruba language. Whoever is not a Yoruba person here, we call it Isheya or something like that, which means time for work. It's time for work.
Enter the room.
So just go in there. So that's why I appreciate the way you analyze it, that is different from person to person. And I think sometimes where we came from, what we heard, when we were even growing up, some of us say, if you even touch a woman like this, mere touching can make the person to be pregnant. And therefore, so thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Of what you said,
Okay.
there's so many dynamics when it comes to sexuality, right, and sex, how people present, right? You have some people that, so what you said about Isheya, right? Maybe to one person, Isheya is a command, I'm repulsed by it. You didn't even prepare me, you didn't do anything, right? But to another person, Isheya might be, I like the way he's commanding me. I like that authoritative thing. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? For some people, it's about power play. So there's that thing that also comes in that is very unique to people individually. So some people enjoy power play, right? Some people like those things. And for some people, sex is like a playground. So when you take a child to an amusement park and you jump on this swing, you jump on that one, you are having fun. For some people, sex is like that. It's just a playground. They want to explore, they want to enjoy. And for some people, they want to play with power dynamics. And that is what for them. And so usually I would tell people, I say you have to discover what works for you, how you feel, what you enjoy. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because people are very different when it comes to all of these things, right? There's also this thing that we say where people think that sex should be spontaneous, right? And so that is the understanding of, oh, for good sex, it must be spontaneous. We can do it every time, we can do it anytime, we can do it anywhere. It's interesting. But you see, another thing that is not said often enough is that because your sexuality is a part of you, your personality will influence your sexuality.
Exactly.
So if you have somebody who is very meticulous, very detail oriented, has to plan a day to do things, do you understand? Someone like that might not be sexually spontaneous because that's not their personality, right? And when you are talking to somebody like that and you are saying, be spontaneous and do like this, go let your body be free, the person is hearing you, but the person is not understanding. It doesn't resonate with them because that's not who they are.
Yeah.
That's not their personality, right? So for someone like that, for them, they want to schedule it, they want to put it on a calendar because that is how it makes sense to them. Because they have to mentally prepare. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with them. It's absolutely normal. And I say this fairly when I'm working with my clients. I say, look, when we want to help you discover yourself sexually, I'm not going to superimpose anything on you. I want to bring out what is in you, right? Something that aligns with your personality so that by the time you start to express, it makes sense for you. And it's not that you are forcing yourself to do something. Do you understand? And that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. And so sometimes you have a spouse who has to plan things, married to somebody who likes to be spontaneous. Sometimes I'll tell them, I say, once this person wants to be spontaneous, if you like to plan, it can work. All you have to know is I have planned. I have put it on my calendar. Oh, Friday night we are going to do this. Tuesday we are going to do this. You don't have to even tell your partner. But you know you have planned because that's what works for you. By the time you go and meet your partner that wants spontaneous, it will look spontaneous to that person. But you have met the need for your personality and the kind of person that you are by planning. Do you understand? But by the time you see that person and then you initiate, that person will be like, where did he come from? Spontaneous. And everybody is happy. Do you get
Volume is kind of
No, she's not.
She's not okay.
Yeah, she's done.
Wow. This session is so loaded, and even me, I'm getting a whole lot of
I'm happy.
why are you happy?
I'm happy. So
Oh, yeah.
it can be better.
Of course, it will be better. So I have a question. Allow me. So over time, one of the commonest complaints that we hear is when the woman is always dry, and then for the men is quick ejaculation. Now on social media, you say, "Oh, the person is a 1 minute man." So my question is, with your dealing with your knowledge, your experience and skill, is it are those medical issues, or are these things or issues that the couple can deal with on their own? And then there's also a question I wanted to ask when you were talking about innovation. I don't know if you can combine the two. What's the place of sex toys in trying to be innovative? So the first question is dryness in the women and early ejaculation in the men. Are they purely medical issues, or are there things that you can do as a couple to kind of resolve these? And then in addition, in trying to be innovative, what are your thoughts on sex toys?
Okay, all right. So let me start with the first one about dryness and PE, which, like you say, is a very, very common complaint.
Yeah.
Now, some of these concerns can have medical or physiological root causes, right? And usually we want to make sure that there are no physiological root causes. We want to at least rule out those things first so that we're not coming into the space of counseling and we are trying to work on something that has a medical root cause. Do you understand? But some of them are not medical. Some of them could be psychological. Some of them can have to do with your life, diet, exercise, on all of those things. Some of them could have to do with your mind, the psychological and all of those things, right? And it's so funny how your psychology influences your sexuality. Because, so for instance, for women, if a woman is not interested in sex, there's a likelihood that she would not lubricate. Do you understand? Because there's this thing that when you receive an arousal stimulus, when you receive arousal stimulus, maybe your partner starts to touch you and all of that, and your brain registers it as, oh, okay, we're getting in the mood, it's time to party, right? Your brain now sends messages to where it's supposed to send messages and say, oh yeah, the arousal response should kick in. But if you are not in that mental space, it's not going to register. And if it doesn't register, how will you get wet? Do you understand? So sometimes there are some issues outside the bedroom that affect that, that cause the woman not to lubricate because she's not interested and what have you, right? Of course, there can be hormonal and all of those things, but not all of the time, right? Another issue that I've also come to realize in terms of the woman not getting wet is that women are not allowing themselves, right, to get to that point of, I like to call it pleasurable penetration, right? And what happens when your body starts to get aroused as a woman? So at rest, your vagina is like a collapsed tube like this. As you start to get aroused, as that arousal response starts to kick in, it starts to what? It starts to expand, right? And then so your cells move up, and then it will lengthen to create space for the penis. Blood flow would move to, there will be more blood flow to the vagina, and you will start to get wet, the lips get plump and all of that, right? Now, because for a long time, and even to date, sex as an intercourse has always been penis centered. So when the man is erect, we must be ready to go. A lot of women are not thinking that I have to be ready as well. Do you understand? We think that the indicator for us as women to be ready for intercourse is when a man has an erection. But that is not. Your body as a woman also has to go through that building of arousal and all of juiciness, getting to the point of pleasurable penetration, and be ready to receive the penis. So what is happening is that, so if it takes a woman this long to go through that phase, right, and a man gets erect, as opposed to waiting till she's fully aroused, what happens is she will take it from here, right? That happens over and over and over again. What you are doing is you are sending a message to your body that you don't need what it's supposed to do. And after a while, women start to struggle with vaginal lubrication. But if you allow your body do its thing and run that cycle that it needs to run, right, as often as possible, you find that you are more, your arousal response, your lubrication, all of those things kick in a lot better. Even women, we need to be able to say, I think I want you to touch me a little bit more before you come, right? Because we're in a relationship together, right? You should be able to have this.
Of course.
You should be able to ask and say, I think I want you to do this to me a little bit more, or I'm not ready. I think I want us to stay in this place a little bit more. Give me, touch my boobs, whatever it is. Then when she should be able to say or signal him to come in. Do you understand? So as opposed to thinking, oh, he's erect, okay, it's time, I must get him in. Do you understand? But that's one of the reasons that women struggle with lubrication. Premature ejaculation too is also a thing that people experience. Now, I usually tell people, so how do I put this? Some people, there's a lot of risk with self-diagnosis. I've seen people come in and say they have premature ejaculation, and by the time I assess the situation, it's not even premature ejaculation, because again, you find that for a lot of people, what they've learned in terms of sexuality education on sex is you have to have very long staying power, right? But if you are trusting in terms of having intercourse, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, it's good, you are fine. Do you understand? But because the mentality is we need to be able to go, and by the time we are done, she'll have bow leg. By the time we are done, she'll be walking like this. You need crush.
Hey!
Some people think like that, right? It's not to say that premature ejaculation is not a thing, but I'm saying that sometimes there's a danger with self-diagnosis, right? Because it don't necessarily be what you're thinking. Again, if you allow a woman's body run its course, there is less pressure for you to trust for a long time, because at that point, when her body is fully aroused, she's much closer to having an orgasm, right? And you don't have to be doing hard labor, shekara, and be sweating and be doing, just what I'm trying to say. You don't have to do all of those things. You've basically shortened that time, and both of you can enjoy without pressure, right? So the other question that you asked, you said I should answer them together. The place of choice.
Sorry, sorry. Before you answer that question, is it good to just maybe share our own experience a bit to buttress that, or after she's done with the?
Well, maybe she should just finish. She was just going to talk on sex toy.
All right. Okay.
So sorry, continue, sis.
All right. Okay, so toys. How do I put this? You know, you can cook stew or soup without adding like crayfish.
Mm.
You know, salt, pepper, all those things. But sometimes you want to add crayfish, add some extras. That's how I see toys. You should be able to have sex without them, right? But they can be enhancers. Do you understand? They can enhance your pleasure together, but you should be able to have. So there shouldn't be a crutch that you can't have sex without toys. They are enhancers that you can use together and say, okay, sometimes let's bring something new. Let's try a different experience. Well, let's use this today. Let's use that tomorrow. And you are exploring. To me, in my opinion, it's absolutely fine. And I usually love it when couples use it together because it can really enhance the experience for both the husband and the wife, right? But it's not something that should be a crutch, that without it, your sexual experiences become dissatisfactory. Do you understand what I mean? So they can be enhancers, but they should not be something that when it's not there, it detracts from the sexual experience for you.
Thank you. Amazing. What were you going to say? Because she said something that I want to take as a follow-on question. If you're not ready to say, can I continue?
Go on.
Allow me, you mentioned one word, and it's a popular word, people use it, but I don't believe from talking to couples, I don't believe that a lot of us even understand the meaning of that word, and that's orgasm. What is orgasm, and how do you even know that you've reached orgasm or you've experienced orgasm?
Okay, all right. So let me describe it this way. So if you look at the sexual cycle, right, you have the excitement phase, desire, the arousal phase, and then the plateau phase. So the plateau phase is basically when your arousal keeps building. So think of it like climbing a step, right? So your arousal keeps building and building and building and building. Now it gets to a point that is like the zenith of the pleasure, and that is what you call an orgasm. And usually an orgasm is characterized by contractions of, I mean, the traditional way of describing orgasms is the contractions of the genital area, and there's like an overwhelming sense of pleasure. Do you understand? And at the end of the day, it feels like when you've had an orgasm, it feels like you've released something from your body. Now, for a lot of women, one of the ways you can know when you orgasm, and this happens for a lot of women, you get to a point where, first of all, you feel like you have released sexual tension, right, from your body, basically, mostly through for a lot of people. But another thing that you also would use to understand that you've had an orgasm or know that you've had an orgasm is, for a lot of people, they say they can't take any more touch at that point. It becomes overwhelming and it becomes too much, right? And so at that point, the body just wants to rest and recover, and then if they choose to, they can start again. So more often than not, it's like that culmination of that pleasure followed by the release of the sexual tension. And for a lot of people, you find that at that point they don't want further stimulation to continue. So you find that some people have had orgasms and they don't know. So sometimes, like, you have people describe what I just described to you, my body feels like this and all of that, and they don't know they've had an orgasm, but they've had, right? Some people don't really understand what it means to have an orgasm, and some people actually have not had orgasms. But definitely that combination of sexual tension, of sexual pleasure, and a release of sexual tension usually is how you know that you've had an orgasm, whether, I mean, you're a man or a woman.
Thank you. So does ejaculation equate orgasm?
So for the most part, okay, so how do I put it? For the most part, for the regular person, yes, they go hand in hand. But it gets to a point where people who are more skilled can separate orgasm from ejaculation, right? So people can move energy through their body. People can basically have what we call full body orgasms, and they're not ejaculating yet, right? And at the end of the day, they can then decide when they want to ejaculate. So yes, they can be different, but for most people, like, I mean, people who are not like at a certain level of skill, for most people it will go hand in hand. But for some people who start to improve and get to a certain level of skill, they can separate both, have orgasms, move energy, and all of that, separate that, and still have ejaculation separately.
Thank you so much. At this point, I want to once again ask if you have questions.
Yeah.
Please don't waste this opportunity. Please post them in the comment section and we'll take your questions. Olawunmi is still here. And before we shut down, she's here to take your questions. This is a very pertinent topic, and a lot of issues arise out of, sex and sex-related issues in marriage.
Yeah.
So this is an awesome opportunity. Thank you, Olawunmi. You are doing great justice. I'm just soaking them in and taking notes.
So what I want to just say is because after now, some people might be hearing her, and she will still have the opportunity to let her talk about more about herself, what she has done, the products that she have. But before we get there, we've just dropped the social media handles. If you check, because I'm using two devices, so you see Joshua's name dropped have her social media handles in terms of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Then we also drop Delua Talks Free. So accepting that we know that Joshua is our person. It's our person. So don't be bothered. It is reliable. That is what you can use in following up if you want to have a conversation with us. Or after now, by the time we shut down, you feel that you need to hear more. Because I'm telling you, this is just snippets. It's not, we've never touched anywhere at all. So you can follow up through her social media handle, then you can take the conversation further from there. But I love the fact that that innovation. I think I was going to say something in that level, but I've forgotten some things I really want to say. But let me just mention the one I remember so that it can help some people here, because in the Lua Talks Free, we always want to make things real, practical, and easy for people to just follow. So I will use our own example, for instance. So just bear with me. When we started, I have that issue of quick ejaculation, and at some point it becomes a border. So I agree with Olawunmi, because sometimes it could be related to the mind, how you're able to have control over your mind. At some point, I was asking myself, is that I have a medical issue? I have to analyze I follow the family line and say whether there was any issue like that. I couldn't find any. And I am a husband that wants to make the wife to be very happy. And if I'm seeing unfulfillment, then I want to take it upon myself. So I now realize that the more I make efforts, the sooner the thing was coming. And I have to, at some point, I have to now read a bit more about it, and also learn that and that's when I knew that it was an art. It's not something you just jump on and expect that the thing will just happen. I read about it, and one of the ways was as if it was, you can distract your mind. They say you do get to a point where you have that skill where, while that process is going on, you can temporarily distract your mind. Because my problem then was, once we start, I'm breathing faster, and I'm just emotionally high, and before you know it, sometimes under 1 minute. And it became a serious concern that I actually prayed about it and also read about it. And when I realized, okay, few ways how I can go about that, that really helped me, distracting my mind, helping me ensuring that I don't allow my breathing to be too fast, and just trying to be in control, really savor the moment, enjoy the moment. Because before now, mine is like Ishaya that I said earlier on in quotes. It's time. not in a commanding tone, but once we just start like that, the next thing I just want to get in. But and I realized that no. There's an opportunity for play. There's an opportunity where even before when you are starting your day, when you are at work, you started sending some text messages. You started, we call it, you wet the ground, and then at some point you start using some lovely words. I read engineering, my first degree, and I was trained for precision. So talking love didn't come naturally. I have to unlearn and relearn certain ways. So sometimes I say, I love you. Her person, she's more of an emotional person. And she'll say, she wants to hear those words. But in my mind, I'm thinking about it from a logical perspective. If I don't love you, why will I be spending the rest of my life with you? Maybe this might be somebody's story that is listening to us right now. But I took it on. And that's where the place of communication, where she started, Olawunmi started from.
Yes.
We had to have this conversation. And even though she was not fulfilled, she was willing to come to help me. And she actually helped me. And
we helped each other.
We helped each other.
And we are still helping each other.
We are still helping each other. We are not there. We are not perfect, but we are a whole lot better than where we are coming from. But this was some of the things that we did, and later I was able to stay a bit longer. And I love the fact that you said some people think is when the longevity is what determines. But now there are times 3 minutes, there are times 5 minutes, and at the end of the day, you feel so satisfied.
You don't want to know before.
I remember that time, but I've never broken that record before. There was a time it was 1 hour, but I've been trying to see if I can break that record. It was close, but it has never been. But we're not saying this to put some other pressure. Please don't go and start putting unnecessary pressure on yourself, like Olawunmi said, because it differs from person to person, and the fact that
from couple to couple,
from couple to couple. Now, this one is not happening frequently. Is once in a while. But because I've learned I've mastered the act to some extent, then I know there's a need for foreplay. There's a need, knowing my wife's love language, and I play strongly in the aspect of her love language, and she loves words. And words alone, what I used to think would arouse her, I now realize that words can actually do that. See, I've been married to you over 10 years, and it's like you still don't understand me. I am not a robot. Sometimes some men might take that and be offended, but I took that as a feedback and I tried to work on it. So I felt I need to just use practical example in that way to buttress from the way the beautiful way she has actually explain it and make it clear to us. But I'll say some other thing, but afterwards.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Is it?
I want to say something based off of
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I love the part where you said you studied engineering, everything was about precision, and then your wife is an emotional person, and you started to make attempts, but it did not come naturally to you.
Yeah.
There was a period.
Yeah.
That's a mistake that people make. People think because it doesn't come naturally to me, then I shouldn't force myself to do it. Do you understand? People don't understand that you're not in a relationship with yourself. You're in a relationship with a person. If this person requires this, if this is what is their oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Learn. The fact that it does not come naturally to you it's not an indicator that you are forcing yourself or something is wrong.
Yeah.
Just like you are building capability, you're building capacity, and that's what is happening, right?
Yeah.
It's just like a child learning to walk. So if the child is not able to walk and the child is stumbling and falling, would the child say, oh, I can't walk, so this is not for me? Just how I'm saying.
Stay on the ground, exactly.
Yeah.
So the feedback of it feels uncomfortable for me, it feels like this is not me, does not mean it is wrong, does not mean it is bad, does not mean you are pretending to be who you are not. It just means that you are building capacity to be able to love your spouse better. I just wanted to pinpoint that again because I thought that was like a very amazing point that you made.
Thank you very much. In the bid to spice this thing up, we've tried on our own, because we want to say this, I want to throw it out there. Sometimes until you try something before you discover that you actually like it or it will help the relationship. We've tried several ones, and there are some that we would have loved, but there's a sense in which it will not work in our own case, and there are some that we felt maybe this might not work. Sometimes you say you want to leak. Sometimes you say yes, that part we tried it and wasn't really gelling for me. And I said, okay, you know what? Let's just leave that one. Which other one can work? Then sometimes we know this one, I love it very well. Put honey on the breast nipple, and it helps the sensation. I'm telling you, we are talking about sensational sex. So it helps the sensation. By the time I lick the honey and I'm sucking the thing, then that is very good. There are times when the one that also work very well for us is when you take the back position. And now I want to say this. Some people will like a certain style, but depending on the makeup of yourself and your spouse, if one is a little bit endowed and the other person is slim, there are just certain style that you cannot engage in. So you see that as something is not for you, then look for the alternative path that can still achieve that. For us, that honey bit is good. The back position is good. Spontaneity is good. Then being creative also. Sometimes before we left Nigeria, I've said this in one of our events before. Sometimes we live in a block of flats and it's close. When we drive and we get home, maybe sometimes we get home like late. I think there's excitement when you try to do something like quickly. We talk about spontaneity inside the car, and see, that concern of I hope somebody will not see it. That brought the excitement into it. So once in a while we do that, and at the end of the day, it's so exciting. We're talking about making it sensational. Don't dull the moment, please. And if you are dulling the moment, you are hearing a whole lot of stuff now. You can come back and listen to it from the recorded one. And please, you have to spice up your marriage through sensational sex. Thank you very much.
And remember, thank you. And remember what Olawunmi said. Sensational sex, there's no weighing parameter. It is what works for you and your partner. And she said something very profound at the beginning. You have to have self-awareness, self-knowledge, and partner knowledge. Understand your partner, understand yourself, so that you can then define what is sensational for you. So what is sensational for me and Dele may not be sensational for you. It may just be basic for some people, So thank you. Yeah, but for us, we think, and what is, so yeah. I hope everyone who is logged on, I hope we are having a great time. I hope we are learning and getting ideas and getting inspired. That's our motive really for today. For you to know that there's always a higher level, and there's always room to take your sexual intimacy to a higher level, more intense, more beautiful, more pleasurable, because that's part of the benefit of marriage. I mean, I'm married, so why can't I enjoy it? So, allow me, thank you. I'm coming back to you now. And don't forget, if you have questions, please, and put on those emojis. Thank you. I'm seeing the love emojis. It's been going on. Allow me, I've been hitting the nail, and I've just seen the love emojis. And so, thank you. If you have questions, please don't forget to put it in the comment section. We will take your questions. But we already have some curated questions that we send out, messages to people to say, send in your questions, we'll take them, and some that we have also, got curated from the conversations we've had with some other people. Now, allow me, I want us to talk briefly about sex and parenting. Young couples who are just, trying to find their rhythm after having children. What would you advise when parental responsibility is coming in between, being able to have fulfilling or sensational sex?
Okay. So here's what I usually would tell people. Sex is part of your life, right? It's not a bubble that is untouched by things that happen in your life. So things that happen in your life, in your work, you become a new parent, all of those things will affect your sex life. So it's not a bubble. It's not that so many things are happening in your life and sex will just, do you understand, preserve, it's untouchable. It's a big lie. It's a part of your life and it has to work for your life at every stage you are in. And so for new parents, new addition to your family, taking care of a new baby, all of those things, it's told. If you have a support system please by all means use it, right? And I also feel that couples should be able to I mean, it's both the husband and the wife's child. It's your child as a parent, right? As
Yeah.
parent, that
Yes.
child is your. I honestly don't feel that it is one person's responsibility to take care of that baby or that child, right? So it is not you are a mother, you have motherly instinct, you are the one, you are awake, you should be this, that. I feel like that responsibility is a joint responsibility of both the father and the mother. So if a break, the other person can be taking care of the children and swapping and basically jointly taking responsibility. Because one of the things that you see happen is that women are taking a lot of responsibilities, right? Getting more attached to the children, but in the same vein, being very overwhelmed, right? And then the husband not necessarily be saying the overwhelmed, but all he's saying is that I am neglected, I'm relegated, I'm pushed aside.
Yeah.
You're going on a journey, but you're not bringing this person along. Granted, there is some men say, okay, no, well, you're the mother. Do you understand? But I think that those things are not fair to happen, right? Couples carry each other along
Yeah.
because you are the support that you have for each other, right? And so those things need to be able to happen. And at different stages of parenting, of course, some of these things can influence your sex life. Some people decide that the child is going to sleep in their bed. That's one thing that I tell people as soon as you can, please take that child out of your bed. If you let the child sleep in a cot right from the beginning, because babies, children, they like touch, right? They like all of that. And if they start sleeping in your bed, sometimes it's very difficult to make them stop, right? So one of the things I tell them is,
we experienced it.
yeah. I also experienced this. In fact, there were times. But one of the things I told myself when I was before I even got before I had my first child, one of the things I told myself was I would not place any of my children above my husband. I told myself,
Please, loud it again.
and so that sexual connection was important to me. That, and my husband is a very, very supportive person. In fact, I tell him all the time. I tell him, I feel like you're even a better parent than I am, right? Supportive person. And so, but I told myself, I'm not going to place the children above my husband. We're going to do this together. And my husband, of course, is a very supportive person. So that was very, very helpful for us. But even though there were times that the baby would be sleeping in our bed, in fact, do you know how sometimes we will make sure that the baby will not roll off the bed, and we'll open the door, close the door, go to the living room, lock the bedroom door, go to the living room, and quickly get a quickie in, and then come back to the bed.
Love that.
You understand?
Yeah.
Just still to be. I mean, it wasn't always like, you can have 45 minutes, 1 hour of sex and all of that. We had to adapt at that time. Then, of course, as they started to grow and force boundaries, our doors are locked, you can have your time, they can entertain themselves, and all of that. But stage of your life, you want to be able to adapt, right? And make the best. So what I usually would say is, please make use of your support system, right? Make sure that both of you are very involved in that process and are supporting that process. Prioritize your relationship, prioritize your intimacy. This for me again is personal. I would say do not put don't give your children an importance that is above your husband or your wife. You understand? Still accord them importance that
Important. Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I was saying.
Thank you. We have a question in the comment section, and it says, what are your thoughts on using pornography to learn more about sex?
Okay. Very interesting. And then I think there's the what's it called? I think there's the answer of the people of faith, and there's the professional answer. Do you get? So let me start with the professional answer, and then I will come to the faith answer. Right? I do believe that. I mean, for the most part, what you see in mainstream pornography is not entirely. It's not necessarily representative of what sex is in a relationship, right? You're seeing there's a lot of things like, in terms of size, for instance, bodies,
Mm.
Sorry, I can't.
And what have you. Sometimes the things that you see are not reflective of what happens in, do you understand, in a marriage,
Yeah,
in marriage. So you are seeing somebody whose penis is as long as my arm, right? And
exactly.
the husband that you have, his penis is now like my pen. And you're not looking that, uncle, how are you going to do this one? That man, you raise a leg up. You, your own penis is small like this. So how do you understand? Or you are seeing a woman,
Volume.
ah, and then your own wife at home, she's receiving and she's okay. She's not saying much. You start to compare that. You're
Yeah.
thinking, oh, why you not? Where's your ringtone? Do you understand? So sometimes because it's not reflective of what really happens, real sex,
Mm-hmm.
the realities of it. Sometimes it can create unrealistic expectations of people, right? Another thing is, of course, there is the risk of addiction as well because some people can look at it and take their eye away. It's for a purpose. We've looked at it. We're done. Let's move on. But some people tend to then be sucked in and they start using it on their own. Do you understand? So there are risks of those things that happen, right? Which is why usually I would not recommend it. But if a couple come into session and say that's what they use, I'm not judging you for it. If it works for you, it's fine. But usually I would not recommend that this is how you should learn, right? There are resources that are there for you to learn. So for instance, we have the University of Sex, of which I'm the founder. We've created courses, so that people can learn from as well to improve, spice up their sex lives and do all of those things. So that's one thing, that's the part about pornography that I feel like, okay, you have to be careful about. Then if you look at the place of the faith, a lot of Christians believe that watching pornography is bringing a third party into your bedroom, right? If that's not, if you are not, if it does not support your value as a person of faith, there's no point in feeling guilty afterwards. Anything at all that opposes your value in any way, whether you're a person of anything that you do that opposes your value, and then at the end of the day you feel guilty, honestly, I feel like there's no point doing it because these things should be pleasurable for you. They should be guilt free because what is happening is more and more you are just associating sex with guilt, and that is difficult to be pressing accelerator and brake at the same time. You won't move anywhere. But still, if the things that you're doing are supporting or making you feel attached guilt to sex, it just does not help you move forward in your relationship sexually.
Thank you so much. At this point, I would like you to talk about your book. The book you just released.
Before she said that, let me just quickly say this in 1 minute. In 1 minute. Thank you so much. You answered that question very well. I just want to add this so that I can just give perspective to it. Whoever is listening now or will be listening afterwards, listening to the recorded version. Remember that when we talk about pornography, it's a production. And there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, even up to 20 people, depending on the setting that are behind. And therefore, I love the fact that you said it's not a true representation of what it's supposed to be. And earlier we talked about the fact that sex is an art, A-R-T. It's a skill that you have to develop. I told myself, because that thing came to my mind, I felt, could I use this when we're just starting out to understand or maybe enhance myself? I just told myself, Dele, it's better you go the natural way, discuss with your wife and see how both of you can support each other and build it up. And that's what has helped us. When you want sustainability, and I think we should go in the route of what Olawunmi have just said. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you like what you've been hearing, this is not all. Like Dele said, this is just a tip. Olawunmi is an authority on sex, intimacy, and everything associated. So she has released a very powerful resource material, and I'm going to give her the opportunity to talk about it and tell us how to get it, because I mean, we just have to keep learning, learning, and learning.
Yeah.
It doesn't end here. 1 hour, 30 minutes of Insta Live is not going to resolve all those sexual issues that you may have been encountering. So, Olawunmi, please tell us about your resource material. I know we've read an excerpt, and it was mind blowing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I also want to say, before I share the resource, I just wanted to say, based off of what you said as well, there's so many sexual concerns people have, so many sexual issues, right? And because we've learned that you're supposed to figure out yourself, for a lot of people, if sex is not working, they feel very ashamed about it. Please, if you have tried to resolve any sexual issues yourself and you're not making way, please seek help.
Yeah.
Don't let it start. I've seen people, I've worked with people who had sexual issues for 10 years, 12 years, 6, 7 years, and they kept quiet, and it just kept festering, right? And by the time they reached out, yes, even though at the end of the day they found their solution, but a lot of nails had been drilled into the wall. A lot of pain, a lot of resentment, a lot of things had happened. So please, in any part of your life, whether it's sex, whether it's marriage, whether it's counseling, whatever you need, if you have tried yourself a few times, please seek help. There are people that, I'm a strong believer that God reaches us in so many different ways, right? God gave us herbs for healing. God gave people the wisdom to turn those herbs into medicine for healing. God gave us for healing. So God can reach us through the spirit, through the body, through the mind. And God has put people who are well versed in this field: counseling, psychotherapy, sex therapy, marriage counseling, all of those things. God has given people wisdom to be able to do it. Please. It does not mean that you don't have faith in God when you see a counselor. God has given these people wisdom to be able to help you. So please don't suffer in silence. Get the help, please. Don't let things fester, please. So thank you.
Thank you.
So to the book, yes, I released this book. It's called Sexcapades. And so why did I release this book? One of the things that we've been saying here is that a lot of couples, after some time, everything becomes monotonous and everything. And so what you are having is couples who are very comfortable with each other, who are friends, who like each other, but sexually the spice is missing, right? And I've seen it over and over and over again. And again, once the spice is missing, it becomes a problem. It starts to affect a lot of things. And so this book is basically the spice. This book is the spice that you need in your
sex. Crayfish. It's the crayfish and curry you talked about earlier.
Absolutely. So this book has, and you know the interesting thing about this book, I didn't just want it to be a book that people would just read like literature. I wanted it to be like a guidebook, an activity book that you can open and say, babe, we are doing chapter 5 today, and you have a mind-blowing experience. Next week you open it and say, let's do chapter 15. And you're having different mind-blowing experiences. You are spicing up your sex life. You are bringing new things to the bedroom. So it's a guidebook that helps you take action in the bedroom. That's basically what it does. It has like 30 activities, sexual activities, sex positions to help you take charge in the bedroom, spice up your bedroom. No more boredom. You don't have to be having boring sex. You will just be glowing. All those your staffs and colleagues used to shout at. When you start, you'll be happy. They'll say, madam, what happened? I noticed that you are glowing. You are happier. You are not shouting at us again. Is it that we are making? They say, no, God is good. God is good. So this way help you. So this is how you spice up your sex life. It's called Sexcapades. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing book. Everybody that has even just the small excerpt that I shared with some people, the feedback has been mind-blowing, not to talk of having the entire book. So please, you can click the link in my bio. If you just go to my handle, you can click the link in my bio and order a copy of this. Thank you.
Did you deliver worldwide? We have quite a number of people joining in from the UK.
Yes. Okay. So we're working on getting this on Amazon. We've had
once it's on Amazon,
so that people outside, because we've been having a lot of requests from US, UK, Canada, South Africa, Kenya, and all of that. So we've been having a lot of that. So we're working to get this on Amazon. For now, it's still available in Nigeria, but we're working to get this on Amazon. So my Instagram handle is as Olawunmi Esan Sex Therapy. I think it was is in in the in the comments at some point.
Yes, and we'll see drop it before, but if you see it from Joshua, so you see it dropped again.
Yeah.
Can you also put that?
Sorry, if you go to the link in my handle, you will find out that it's even sold out. So we sold out the first batch we printed right now. So it means that it's going to be on. There's going to be like a short wait period to get. So if you order, there's going to be a bit of a short wait period because we sold out the batch we printed last week. We sold out before the end of last week, and so this week rather. Sorry, today is still Saturday. We sold out, but it just means that there'll be just a little bit of a wait period once you order your copy.
How soon are you going to get new prints out? Because I have someone that will come into the UK. Since you can't get your numbers, I was thinking if I get a copy, I send it to the person, and the person brings it to me here in the UK, so we can,
We're hoping that we get some reprints by next week. So this the week we're going into now.
All right.
Okay, that's fine. I have one more question. But I wanted us to talk about your resource material because I know how power packed it is. This is something we've experienced since moving down here to the UK. We realize that a lot of couples, when they come into the UK, like they will always tell you, say, "Oh, the UK," or even living where you're already taking down roots and going to a new country is usually very challenging. And so couples here find it really difficult at times to adjust, handling childcare, handling work. A lot of them are students, handling their responsibility and commitment as students, and just tying all those things together. And then because the bills do not wait, a lot of them, would do, maybe the husband is doing night shift, the wife is doing day, or the other way around. And then intimacy now becomes the sacrificial lamb. How do you advise, because there are so many, how do you advise couples like that?
So I think to put it in context, when you see somebody stressed, somebody exhausted, or somebody not having an understanding of how to go about the cross-cultural differences. How is it impacting?
Please let me answer my question. This is not cross-cultural. Allow me, did you get what I said? Did you get? Yeah, because we've seen it live and direct. Husband is working night shift, wife is working day, or the other way round, and intimacy becomes a forgotten issue. How would you advise that they navigate, through that season, pending when they find a balance or a reason?
So you know what we said before about how sex is a part of your life. Whatever is happening in your life would definitely affect your sex life. So I think the first thing that people have to understand that this is what we are going through now. So we may need to adjust our expectations somewhat, right? As opposed to expecting that sex will be the way it has always been, regardless of this. You understand? So people need to find that, okay, this is what is going on in our lives now. It definitely will impact the bedroom. We may need to adjust our expectations. We may not be able to have sex every day or 4 or 5 times a week, but we need to prioritize our connection, right? We need to find a way to make our intimate life still work. Do you understand? And so we start to look at how do we. So first of all is acceptance, accepting the fact that things are changing, and you may need to adjust your expectations so that one person is not feeling resentful. Do you understand? Adjust your expectation, accept the fact that things are changing, and then start to find ways to say, okay, how can we make this work, right? Because remember, again, we said this, sex is not just about intimate, it's not just about intercourse, right? There are other ways to connect. There are other ways to build your connection and maintain that connection. If you have to put it on a calendar that, when I'm on my break by 12 p.m., I have to call my wife or call my husband just to check in, not because I want to ask how the children are, not because I want to ask, have you made money or whatever, but because I want to check in on you. I'm touching base with you. We're taking, even if it's 5 minutes to connect in the middle of our busy schedule. If you have to schedule it, do it. Because if you don't and you are that busy, time will get away from you. So if you have to put specific measures like that in place, we're not saying use big blocks of time. of time, right? 5 minutes is okay. Lunch break. If you have to put a reminder, please by all means do it, right? And look at how your schedules, if there's any way that your schedules align, please look at how you can connect. If it's weekends that your schedules align, please find something that helps you guys, that connects you, that improves your intimacy, or that something that you do. So if Saturdays you have the luxury of sleeping in for a bit, that can be a time where both of you are now taking time after you've rested. You're now luxuriating in each other's touch. You are stroking, you are playing with each other, and then that can lead to intercourse if you want. Or if you don't want, it can just be about touching and using affectionate and sensual touch with each other. So basically, adjusting your expectations, accepting that things have changed, but trying to make the best of it and being intentional and committing. If you have to write it, you have to set a reminder, please by all means do it, because those things will not happen on autopilot. And if you keep leaving it like that, well, it can get away from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Please, can we just put it in the chat box? Let's put our hands together. Let us appreciate Olawunmi for
Thank you.
the session.
Yes.
Let's appreciate and let us see that we indeed
Yes.
appreciative of what has just happened in the form of emoji. Yes, I'm seeing love, I'm seeing fire, I'm seeing
Thank
clapping.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Olawunmi. This session has been so good. I'm a person of faith. I believe the devil always wants to thwart our strategy. So I cannot see why he didn't want this session to hold, because I know a lot of people have, been have been inspired to kind of continue to put in what is needed to get their sexual intimacy, going higher and better. And to everyone who have remained logged on, a big thank you. I want to believe you've learned. Please, you can go on our Instagram page at Delua Talks Real. This is free resource. This is free training. And so all that we ask is, please go to our page, put what you've learned, just share something, so that, it keeps us going. It's very motivational. Motivational. It's very motivational. And, it gives our page more visibility. Thank you so much. We have more programs lined up to enhance your relationship. So please, if you know you're not following the Lua Talks Real handle yet, please go on and follow us. Tech support, please put the page on, put the handle on the comment section again. Please follow us. We have a lot of enriching, content. Same thing with Olawunmi. The first time I encountered her page, I was like, ooh. Susan, she was very calm here. Go to her page and see, And so please, I've shared the page. The recording is going to go on our Instagram page, a few minutes after, or let's say tonight. If you probably have not gained the full import of tonight's session, so I'll say go back, sit with it again, go through and take full advantage of the things she has shared with us tonight. Share the link. I can assure you that your sex life will not remain the same again. I know you may have had definition of sensational, but you're going to redefine sensational for you and your partner. So a big thank you so very much. My name is Uwa. This is Dele, and we've been having sensational sex for
2 years now.
By our own definition. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.